Well, it might be a different year, but it is the same story weather-wise. Another named storm has brought significant impacts to the southern half of the UK during the course of today, and it looks as if we are going to see the continuation of messy conditions as we go through the remainder of this week. Thanks for clicking on to the Tuesday edition. Yeah, it is Tuesday. Get a little bit sidetracked given time off, and there's always that kind of element of confusion as to what day it is when you've not got the typical schedule. I don't know what you think, but certainly I find this like you're scratching your head as to what day it is. But we do have Storm Henk that has produced a gust of 94 miles per hour at Needles Point on the western tip of the Isle of Wight. We had 81 miles per hour at Exeter Airport, which I believe may be a record or the second strongest wind gust ever recorded at that particular site. And we did also see 74 miles per hour, I believe, at Newquay Airport in Cornwall. Also, this is the current surface pressure chart over Europe at the moment. And we do have not one but two areas of low pressure actually affecting the British Isles. One, a lesser system to the northwest of the British Isles, versus Henk, which has now exited the east coast of England and is now out over the North Sea. The strongest winds across the southern flank of that system produced some very significant wind gusts, as already made mention of. We've also got a very powerful area of high pressure over northwestern Russia extending into Scandinavia, and we'll talk about that in just a second. As the title suggests, yes, it still can get cold. So, yeah, very, very impressive chill indeed. We did see a temperature drop to minus 42 Celsius this morning. In fact, it actually dropped colder than that. If we look at a tweet most recently by our good friend Thierry Goose, that a preliminary minimum in a place that I'm not going to even attempt to pronounce, dropped to minus 43 Celsius this morning, which I believe is a tie for the monthly record, same value that was set all the way back to 1918 and recorded the lowest temperature in January in Sweden since the historic month of January 1999, where a minus 49 Celsius was achieved, believe it or not, and that was a record breaker for the country of Sweden. So very, very impressive cold indeed. But before we look at the current temperatures up across the northwest and the vast contrast, we will look specifically at the UK and Storm Henk. So as made mention of, we actually have quite a deep area of low pressure off South Uist at 970 millibars at the moment. But notice here that there is quite a spread in the isobars, so we don't have particularly strong winds over the mainland of Scotland. Gusty winds across Orkney and Shetland out of a southeasterly direction, but it's been across England, Wales, and the southern half of Ireland where the strongest winds have been through the course of today. As we skip back through this loop, we can see those strong gusty winds across the country. I need to have a little bit of a trim back in the size of this image to be able to encapsulate exactly what I'm showing, because I know a lot of people get a bit frustrated at cutting off the southern half of the UK. It's not deliberate. It just so happens to be the way I try and squeeze the map in. But see, you can see here as we play through the course of today, a rather innocuous feature which became Storm Henk, moving to the south of Ireland, making an approach in southwestern Wales, and then as it crossed over the south of Wales, South Midlands, we've seen the system rapidly deepening into the 970s millibars, and along, like I said, that southern flank, we had gusts of wind in excess of hurricane force, Devon, Cornwall, through Somerset, and then all the way across into East Anglia. So as we play through the loop, you can see the system moving across the southern Midlands region, and the strongest winds this evening across parts of Suffolk, Norfolk, and then down into Kent also. And we've got that other area of low pressure, as you can see here, to the west of the southern Western Isles here. So let's have a look and see what the current temperatures are, because we have got very, very significant contrast in temperature at this moment in time. So we'll just try and get back so that you can see what I'm showing you here. And you can see here that the current temperatures as of just after 7 p.m. in the evening look like this here. So let's have a look at the strongest winds, in fact, first of all. And you can see southern portions of England here. We've got the strongest winds now across the southeast, but also across northern France, across the Low Countries. We've got wind gusts in excess of 70 miles per hour, I believe, anywhere from the north of France through along the Belgian, the Dutch coast, and into even Denmark, northern portions of Germany. Also here, we've also got some gusty winds, as you can see here, across southern Germany, Norway, and Sweden. So let's have a look and see what the current temperatures are as of the latest. So you can see here a very, very notable contrast in temperature between 17 Celsius at Faro Airport in southern Portugal. We've got temperatures into the double figures across the south of England here. But then as we move up into the heart of Scandinavia, Finland, into western Russia, we've got temperatures down into the minus 40s once again. If we take a close-up view, look at the contrast here between parts of Germany, even western Poland, and parts of the Baltic states where we've got temperatures into the minus 20s. That is a very, very notable contrast in temperature, and this is a good representation of that. As you can see, we've got temperatures that are close to minus 30 Celsius below average versus temperatures of plus 12, plus even 16 Celsius above average. So we've got a very, very marked contrast between Scandinavia and Western Russia into the Baltic states and the heart of Europe here. You don't see every day this very sharp gradient between exceptionally colder than average versus exceptionally warmer than average. So, yeah, very, very notable contrast indeed here. And let's have a look and see what the close-up view is over Scandinavia as of the time of recording. So we've got minus 42, by the way, back over northern Sweden at the moment, minus 41.8 Celsius. If we look at the wind chill here, we've got even colder feeling temperatures of minus 46 Celsius. So that is a very, very, very cold night indeed across parts of Sweden and Finland and Western Russia in particular here. So we may even see possibly colder tonight versus what we've seen back last night. Looking back to the UK, I do apologise for the kind of skipping back and forward here, just trying to show everything here. But there's Exeter's Airport reading of 81 degrees, 81 miles per hour. Newquay Airport with an elevation of 103 metres above sea level, with a 74 mile per hour wind gust. Mumbles Head at Swansea, 71 miles per hour. So just shy of hurricane force here in South Wales and southwestern England. But like I've already said, we did see a wind gust in excess of 94 mile per hour, I believe, at the western side of the Isle of Wight. No great surprise here, given that it is often an extreme spot in terms of winds when you've got gale force winds through the channel. This is the current radar here, showing heavy rainfall extending from southern Scotland, even parts of the Mournes down, and parts of eastern Republic of Ireland here, but the heaviest rainfall being anywhere from northwest England through the North Midlands, Yorkshire, down into Lincolnshire, parts of East Anglia. We're seeing some very heavy rainfall on the backside of that system as it pulls away and moves towards the near continent here. So, yeah, another very significant day. Big disruption, I believe, through London and also other parts of the country as well. We've seen damage, we've seen some destruction, we've seen scaffolding falling off a building onto the street. Miraculous that there was nobody walking underneath when that came down. That was in the Sutton area of London earlier this afternoon with those very powerful winds. And the question that you're probably asking is, what is going on with the cold in terms of the stratosphere here? So let's have a look and see what the latest is, because I haven't made mention of the stratosphere in recent times. Not for the simple fact that we are expecting to see a minor sudden stratospheric warming. It looks as if the general model consensus has pulled away from the major reversal in the mean zonal winds within the polar stratosphere, but we are going to see a major, we're seeing a minor warming, should I say. But this is contrast between this time last year versus this year. This is a tweet here by Marco Battagna, based at the Met Office, and he goes on to say that the state of the stratospheric polar vortex currently, relative to this time last year, weaker and shifted from the North Pole, with some warming taking place. So this was last year, this is this year. You can see the strong warming over the Eurasia side of the pole. You can see the displacement. I know it's hard to see on the map, but North America is here, North Atlantic, Greenland, Iceland, UK and Ireland, Scandinavia. You can see the displacement. Now, there is some model agreement that we see a bit of a split in the polar vortex. Our friend James Peacock, based in Hampshire, goes on to say that the past few days have seen forecast modelling move towards producing a stratospheric polar vortex split at the mid-levels, such as at the 30 HPA shown here. While not a major SSW, it may serve to help the pre-existing weaker than usual zonal flow to persistent lower down levels here. So we see that influence of that minor warming, the displacement, and a possible split in the PV, then trickle down through the column and move into the tropospheric level here. You can see, if we look at the mean zonal winds here, that we have got some form of downwell. And so this is what's been, and then this is the forecast to the right of the dashed line here, and you can see that we do see some warming taking place through into the troposphere as we go towards the 10th of January here, and this may be coinciding quite nicely. If we look now at the GFS, this is the GFS for the geopotential heights and also the mean sea level pressure anomaly. And it may be a wee bit difficult to see this, but the modelling has been really honing in on a lot of that cold air from either the north or the northeast, starting to move its way towards the UK and Ireland as we move towards the upcoming weekend and into next week. Now, if you look at this run, this is the latest GFS operational. So this is not an ensemble. This is one individual model run. But there has been strong cross-model agreement, both the GFS, the ECM, and other models, even including the Met Office model, at the high pressure building to the north of the UK and Ireland, and then becoming a little bit more retrograde. So it's going to pull more towards the North Atlantic and Greenland and allow a door to open to the north and the northeast. So we have presently minus 40s over parts of Sweden, and we may even see minus 40 tonight over Finland. As we play through this loop, this is the northern hemisphere view. So you're looking at North America, you're looking at Greenland here. You can see here that we've got a lot of lower heights over the Arctic region and over Greenland, representing a positive Arctic oscillation, North Atlantic oscillation. But with what's going on within the tropics of the eastern Indian Ocean, we've got a fairly active MJO over the eastern Indian Ocean, combined with the warming over within the stratosphere. This is what is quite interesting to see. If we play through the loop, you can see here that we've got strong warming taking place just to the west of the UK and Ireland. That pushes northwards. And then if you notice, if we pay close attention to that strong warming blossoming over the northern UK up into the Norwegian Sea, watch what happens as we play towards the end of the loop. That warming then builds towards Greenland, and that's a classic negative NAO pattern as we move towards the middle portion of January here. So look at that there. That is a classic negative NAO signal, and that has an open door to colder air moving in from the north over the UK and Ireland here. And finally, to back that up, you can see here as we play through this loop, the cold air shown by the GFS ensemble, not the operational, but the ensemble, has a trend to colder and colder conditions as we move towards the middle portion of the month. So thanks for watching. As always, be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you again hopefully tomorrow with the latest weather update. Stay tuned. Have a good evening. Bye for now.